Hi guys, it is Naffe on this very sad day with the United point. We're coming on late right now because I spent time listening to the match reactions and interviews by obviously Ollie got interviewed, Maguire got interviewed, and I was listening to what Jamie Carragher and what Ollie had to, Neville had to say, and it was interesting regarding their responses. I'm gonna talk firstly about what Gary and Neville were arguing about. First of all, they were talking about Neville was basically saying obviously tonight isn't acceptable. Uh, this this is outrageous basically. However, I know the board will stick with Ollie, and I personally don't believe Ollie should be sacked today. And first of all, I just feel like that's stupid because there's been no. He also said that the club has progressed a lot, and we should give him to the end of the season. I see no progression. Um, and Carragher was obviously against Neville. Carragher was basically saying like, Oli has progressed. And but he's reached the limit to what he can do. You obviously are a huge team, but you're coming against big boys now, and you're getting schooled. Obviously, the Liverpool, Chelsea, Cities are gonna dominate you. Whilst Ollie's your manager, and he's never gonna be a manager that's on par with Klopp and Tuchel and whatnot. And I have to say, I entirely agree with Carragher. Carragher's basically saying you don't need a new manager right now. And Neville's saying no, we don't. Uh, I'm not gonna turn this into an Ollie hate video because I feel sorry for the man. You could see in his interview after the match that he was distraught. He was, you could even see during the match him walking off, him looking into the skies and whatnot. He looked like he was close to crying. I feel sorry for him, but there comes, uh, when if he knows he's not good enough, I understand you're in the dream job and whatnot, but you gotta know when you gotta call it quits yourself. If the board's not gonna sack you, how long are you gonna keep doing this to yourself? At the end of the day, you're not just damaging yourself, you're damaging the club, the players. These are players' careers that you're hurting as well. Um, yeah. Moving on to what Ollie said during the interview is the interview that he had after the match, he basically said, yeah, it's not good enough from the players. Uh he did talk about how both teams had chances. I failed to see when United had good chances. Um he also said that, it's all about picking ourselves up off the ground because it's the lowest that it can possibly get, and get ready for the next week. Um you know what is there to say towards Oli? I feel like every single United fan understands what time it is right now. Going on Twitter and looking at all the tweets that were sprinting through my timeline, it's crazy. Everyone is united. United is united on the fact that Oli has to leave. But here's Neville saying he knows the board is gonna stick with Oli until the end of the season. So for me, the club is a shambles. We're all over the place and on all levels. The board is all over the place. They're not listening to the fans. Then they're clearly not seeing what we're seeing. They're stubborn. They're not communicating. The coaching is all over the place. You know, and the players. I mean, look on the pitch today. It's all over the place. It's shambolic. There's nothing that is good enough right now at the club. There's nothing good enough right now at the club. There's no organization. There's no there's no you know what, there is passion, but you can't run a club purely on passion. I have no doubt in my mind that Oli loves this club and whatnot, and the players love this club, and the coaches love this club. The owners don't, clearly, but everything below them, people love this club. But a lot of them just aren't good enough. A lot of them are nowhere near good enough for where this club should be. Um, Harry Maguire also came out and had an interview, and he was basically saying, I'm a defender. I need to look myself in the mirror at the end of the day, and I understand it's not good enough. And he just kept apologizing to the fans, and I can't really get onto him after that interview because like, what can you actually say if you're a defender that's letting 4 goals before half time? And he knows it. He said it. I mean, he legit just said, "I let in 4 goals by half time." Like that's just nowhere near good enough. And I'm not angry. I'm not angry with the players. I'm not angry with anyone. I'm just upset. I'm not disappointed because I expected this. I have a friend that supports Liverpool, and I actually told him last night I actually think Liverpool will score 5 by half time. And I said that as a joke, but I also said that with real, like, I was being serious. United defensively are shocking. They showed this stat during the match that is but if I tell you now, clean in the Premier League this season, United are 18th in clean sheets. United are 20th in tackles per game and 20th in errors leading to shots, meaning that we defensively are shocking. Everything but before our forwards is disgustingly rubbish, as in worse in the Premier League rubbish. Clean sheets 18th. That means what? The only two sides that are worse than us at keeping a clean sheet just came up from the lower league, and we're trying to win a title. We're 20th in tackles per game. I mean, come on. If we were a club that dominated possession, fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. You know what? Not even fair enough. 20th per game in the league is shocking, even if you dominate possession. But it would at least be I would understand it a little bit. We have too much of the possession we have so much possession that we can't really tackle. But the fact that we don't even have a lot of possession in these matches and we're still 20th in tackles, I mean, and then we're 20th in errors leading to shots. I mean, you see it. A lot of the goals we concede are goals that we give to the other team. Going back to our Leicester match from last weekend, Harry Maguire's waiting for the ball to come to him. He just gets tackled. And then, we're all scrambling back. We've gifted them a goal. Leicester scored. Today, errors leading to whatever, shots and whatnot. Pogba getting caught on the ball, and then they counter. Literally, as soon as Pogba gets tackled, one pass, Salah takes 2 touches to goal. It's just shocking. In terms of the coach, and I've said many times already that none of them are good enough. Oli is a manager, so he gets a lot of the hate, and at the end of the day, he makes the final decisions, and a lot of them aren't good enough decisions. But I feel like the people behind him aren't giving him good enough options at the same time. I don't feel like Carrick is good enough. Phelan isn't good enough. This Ramsey defensive coach isn't good enough. All of them aren't good enough. All of them are, to be honest, rubbish. I don't want any of them to ever help coach a United team again. Ever. And, Neville's coming out and saying that they're going to stick with them to the end of the season. And, that hurts. It actually hurts when I hear that, because it just tells me what to expect this season. I personally believe that the board can't stick with Oli if we go out and lose all of our next 3 games, because if you do, we're bottom half of the table. Right now we're 7th. This season, before the season, he was talking about we're trying to win the title. We're 7th, 9 games into the season. We're 8 points behind first place. On our form right now is on par with the worst clubs in the Premier League. It's just I honestly don't see a way out. I feel like the only way out is to scrap the rest of the season, getting a new world-class manager right now, the best that we can get, and build something for next season. That's the best we can get out. I feel like this season's finished already, and I'm saying that only 9 games into this season. Where do we go from here? The board don't want to sack Oli. The board don't want to get rid of anyone. The board is backing these inept coaches, and I don't know. This is the best squad we've had in years, possibly over 10 years. This is the best squad that we've had, and we're playing the worst football we've played. People will say no, it was Mourinho football. Mourinho football's worse than this. Van Gaal football's worse than this. Moyes football's. You know what? It's all, to summarize, it's all not good enough. But right now, this is the most recent thing that I'm watching in my memory, and people might argue and say it's not the worst, but for me, it is the worst. It is the worst because it's the best squad that we've had. David Moyes had the ruins of the Fergie era when he came to manage. A lot of those players weren't really his, and the football wasn't good enough. But at least you could say it's not his team. Van Gaal comes in and he doesn't get backed. He doesn't get the players he wants, and a lot of the players that he do get, that he did get, were mercenaries, Di Maria and whatnot, and that was more of Van Gaal's team. But for me, he wasn't given enough time. Mourinho now comes in, and we all know what happened to Mourinho. He won us the Europa and just never got backed again. He didn't get the players that he wanted, and he got sacked. Oli has got all the players that he wants. Oli wanted a winger, we got him. Oli wanted a centre back, we got him. Oli signed the best player in the world. Like, what more do you want? You want a midfielder now? Cool. You signed a midfielder 2 seasons ago. He doesn't even touch the pitch. You sign these youth players that all show signs of them becoming good players. You don't play them. Everything is robbed. And for me, other managers, you could feel sorry for them because they didn't get this or they didn't get that or they had too much of this. Oli has been backed fully, and he is rubbish. He's been given a team that he wants, and he can't do anything with it. Neville's saying give him to the end of the season, and Ollie's saying, we've come too far for it to end now. Where have you come to? Carragher said that we're nowhere near winning the Premier League. We're nowhere near winning the Champions League. So what are we close to? What have we come near to? What, finishing 4th again? Because we've been doing that consistently for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So it's just like, the sack needs to happen. The sack needs to happen because we're nowhere near to being where we should be. Neville's saying, but we came second last season. The only reason we came second last season is because the rest of the Premier League was shite last season. It's as simple as that. And yeah, we came second last season. We weren't even close to Thingy who won. We weren't even close to them. We haven't developed a style of play under Oli. We haven't systematically with one of the worst teams in the Premier League. And, he's been here for 3 years. It's just not good enough. Everyone can see it's not good enough. We've got every single rival team in the Prem saying Oli in. I mean, is that not a sign? Does that not say enough? It's ridiculous, man. And the fact that the board, out of all the managers you want to fully back, you choose the worst manager we've had. He is arguably the worst manager we've ever had at the club, and this is the manager you choose to put everything in. It's laughable. You can actually laugh. I could laugh. I'm not laughing right now because it hurts. It's pain, isn't it? It's numb. Like, man's numb to how I feel right now when it comes to a club. But I feel like everyone that watches this knows exactly how I feel. I feel like a lot of United fans feel exactly how I feel. And to the United fans that are still Oli in, that it's just like, I just want to know why. Like, why are you actually Oli in? Why? Honestly, because I failed to see it before today's match. I thought if Oli could get a win out of this, we're just gonna go on one of those runs again. But clearly we're not. We've got Tottenham next week, and after that, I think we've got City. Tottenham are rubbish. They just lost to West Ham. But we're below Tottenham in the league anyway. We're probably worse than Tottenham right now. So if we get beaten by Tottenham, and Ollie's not out, then God help us. God help us, because I see us finishing bottom half of the table, maybe 8th, 9th at best. Which is, look at the team you have. Are you taking the piss? So yeah. Now anyway, enough of that. Let me get into the match today. The match today was to summarize it, I'm gonna to dumb it down, I'm gonna split the game into two. I'm not gonna split into two halves. I'm gonna split into attacking wise for United and attacking and defensively for United. Defensively, we are the worst team in the Premier League, most likely. We've conceded 7 goals in 2 games. We look disgraceful when it comes to defending. We've got players all over the place. There is no shape defensively in United at all. The players don't know where to be. The players don't know how to defend some of them. Lindelof looks clueless when it comes to defending. Maguire, I don't know if he's injured or whatnot, but he's just not the player he was towards the end of last season. He's not the player he was when he was wearing England's up. Wan-Bissaka, he just looks sick of it. Same with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw just doesn't look like the player he was last season. Last season we was trying to say he's the best left back in the world. Going into the Euros, he backed that up. This season, he's been shit for United. Some people will be like, no, that's just an agenda and whatnot. I mean, going forward, he's not as good as he was last season. Defensively, he's shocking. So you can't come and tell me that he's still good for United because, yeah, I feel like he's better than Tellez. But come on, guys. And that's not an attack on Luke Shaw. You know, I feel like he is our left back and I don't want to replace him, but something's gone wrong. Something's gone really wrong in this team because the form that these players have come into this season is shocking. Varane's walked into this club and he's by far the best defender in this club. It's a joke. It's like he stepped into Norwich. That's the difference I'm comparing Varane and the rest of our defence to. David De Gea, I feel like David De Gea has been our best player this season. So, defensively, that game, I mean, if you want to, just go watch the highlights. Just go watch the highlights and just look at the defensive shape in every single goal that we've conceded. Just look at it and you can see that there's no shape. Players are falling asleep. Players aren't reacting quick enough. Players are being dragged out of position. Players aren't wanting the ball enough. Players aren't being smart enough. Players aren't strong enough. I could go on and on. Just go watch the goals and you can laugh. And that's just the defense. When Liverpool had the ball higher up in the pitch, further back in the pitch, and we could press them, the midfield was invisible. We have people in the live chat saying the midfield is invisible. I think for the first goal, I don't know if it was the first or second goal, from when the keeper had the ball to when the ball ended up in the back of our net, only 4 passes were made, 4 or 5 passes. And this was not a counter-attack. This was United are set. And Liverpool made 5 passes before the ball was in the back of our net. That's a joke. That is ridiculous. From goalkeeper to centre back to full back to winger to striker, back of the net. And United's press, it was a joke. That is the worst press I've ever seen in my life. And if that is the way that we press, I'd rather sit back and counter. That's the way Oli won games when he first came. That's the way Oli won games last season. Sit back, counter. Let's go back to that because we cannot press. Attacking wise, you know, players just don't have any chemistry. Rashford's trying to do it all. Greenwood, for me, Greenwood looked like he looked like a most dangerous player, only because he knows how to create space and get a shot off. No one else could do it. Rashford couldn't do it. Ronaldo did once, but he was offside. He scored as well, offside. Bruno Fernandes was erratic in today's match, and I don't blame that on him. The reason he's so erratic is because he wants it so much, and the coaches don't tell him otherwise. He's gonna go. Carragher said it today. When Man United pressed, Bruno Fernandes is pressing Alisson. When the next furthest player that's in the United top is by the CDMs. What is Bruno doing pressing Alisson? You're not gonna get anything from that. But the coaches are happy with that because it shows effort and intensity, which is all they care about. This is what I mean when I say the coaches aren't good enough, because there's no brains behind the way we play football. It's just all relying on talent, technique, and skill. There's no IQ behind the way we play. And going forward, you can see it. The closest we got to scoring apart from Ronaldo's offside goal was when we were just trying to play Rashford in behind, and we see it time in and time out. When we watch United games, the only way we score goals is by playing the ball either in behind, on the floor, or over the top. That's it. That is it. You know, we score scrappy goals. Going back to the Atalanta match, scrappy goal. Bruno Fernandes crosses it in. We're so lucky that no one gets it out. It ends up at Maguire's feet. That's just luck. Good finish, Maguire. But the way the ball got there was luck. And last season I was saying we were the most lucky team last season. Game we would go into games and play shit, but we'll somehow win. Luckily win. Play the other teams would miss easy chances, and we would score the most lucky goals, scrap a goal in the last minute. It was only a matter of time until our luck ran out. And this season we're getting what we deserve. We're getting punished. We didn't deserve to be midweek. They did it, and a lot of us saw it coming. Who was it? Scholes. I think Scholes said after the Atalanta match that it's only a matter of time until we come across a team that will punish us. And when we play Liverpool on the weekend, they will punish us if we play like that. Look what they did. 4 goals in the first half. Disgusting. You know, that match I can almost put it behind me already. It's behind me already because I wasn't surprised. In the right now, I'm just thinking about where we go from here. Because if we lose to Spurs and we lose to City, fuck me, the rest of the season is a joke. I mean, we're relying on Champions League, but if we're getting plummeled by these subpar teams, we've got no chance of winning the Champions League. So imagine this season we stick with Oli until Christmas. We've been losing games left, right, and centre. You get sacked around Christmas time, we're 14th, or just somewhere in the second half of the table. What's the best we can do then? What, finish 6th? What, back in Europa? Anyhow, United touch Conference League next season, I've lost it. I've actually lost it. I've lost it. And, it's not outrageous for me to be saying that we might be a conference team next season. Because when Neville's coming out and saying that the board is sticking with Oli until the end of the season, I'm not confident. I mean, I know for a fact we're not winning the league. I'm not confident at all in us getting top 4 and top 6. We'll have to start pulling up our socks. So conference is looking at the most likely destination if we stick with Oli, and we'll actually be doing quite good to get conference with the performances that we've been putting in. Yeah, I understand it's just a run of games, and right now we're in the worst form we've been in. But right now, I don't see the form going like this. I just see it just declining until something changes. And obviously, transfer windows in January. And what player wants to come to this club? Because we've been a joke man club for basically 10 years now, 8 years, 9 years, joke man club. But and obviously I didn't really dive too deep in this post match reaction because that match. Just go watch the match. You don't need a reaction for that. It's as simple as that. Like, I'm not gonna come here and be screaming. I've done that. My throat hurts. Like, pause. I don't want to do that no more. I'm gonna give you honest opinions and feedback. I'm gonna be calm and collected. To conclude, I feel like individually the players that we have at that club, you can't tell me that they're not good enough to represent Man United. Some of them obviously, of course not, but the rest of them, they are good enough. And I feel like with the right manager, we could do something with this team, especially after January and the summer transfer window. So I personally believe we should get rid of Oli right now and his coaches, bring in the best manager that we can that suits the players that we have. Not a defensive manager, but an attacking manager, one that can get the best out of the attack. Because you got to play to your team's strengths. You've got to build around our team's strengths, which is attack. We've got a player in our team that could become one of the best forwards in the next 10 years, Mason Greenwood. We've got another one, Marcus Rashford. We've got another one, Jadon Sancho. Bruno Fernandes can be at our club for the next 5 years. Obviously, Ronaldo's getting old, and Ronaldo won't be here in like 4 years' time. But let's try and win something whilst he is here. He's not past it. We need to get someone in that can get the best out of this squad, and Oli definitely cannot. I mean, I didn't even touch on when he decided to go into a diamond in midfield, and I mean Neville said it looked more like a rhombus, and I laughed because, I mean, if that's a diamond, why has a diamond got 8 sides? Like, I mean, it was disgusting. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. Something needs to change right now, otherwise the rest of the season is finished. I mean, I believe personally it already is finished, but let's not make it worse. Let's not add insult to injury. Let's change something before it is beyond more than too late. But Yeah, my name is Naffe. This is United Point. Make sure to get on our at our Twitter at the United Point. Um, Make sure to interact. Get in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with what I had to say. Let me know your own viewpoints and whatnot. Um, but yeah, stay tuned, man. Obviously, we don't have a game until next week Saturday, so we're gonna be making videos and posting them midweek. So yeah, stay tuned, man. I hope you lot have a good end to your Sunday night, whatever you lot are doing.